While I wouldn't consider the Empire a monster faction, they definitely can sort of skew into that. Like here, I've got Karl Franz plus a steam tank, which is obviously a lot of heavy monster power. Also got a Hellstorm rocket battery facing off against the Warriors of Chaos. Single Reiksguard here, a bunch of Pistoliers out front. A Jade Wizard, got some Spearmen with shields, and some Halberdiers. Up against Spudhouse once more. He's taking the Warriors of Chaos, the foul horde of the Everchosen. Speaking of which, the Everchosen himself leading the way. 2 Exalted Heroes. Got some Chaos Marauders, a couple of regular Chaos Trolls, some Chaos Warhounds, Marauder Horsemen. Same thing over here on this flank. So quite a wide horde. Yeah, Mirror Guard there in the center. We're going to get pretty aggressive with the Pistoliers, keep the fire concentrated as much as we can, utilize Karl and the Reiksguard to try and take out some of these hounds early, just to even the odds here. I am outnumbered pretty significantly. I guess, technically my model's not so much, but in unit count, I'm definitely pretty far outnumbered, so I'm going to have to be careful. Use my units wisely. You can see Archaon charging straight up the pipe, trying to get at that steam tank. Definitely pretty solid. So far, Hellstorms haven't really done too much damage. Looked like a nasty Burning Head was about to go off in that front line there, but Archaon popped some other abilities instead to cancel it out. We did manage to break both those hounds, though, so this kind of flank pressure right here, for the most part, has been neutralized. But here we go. Trolls charging in. Nope, they actually going to charge the Reiksguard here. Reiksguard with their melee defense of 29 is decent enough. They are going to take some damage here, though, but I'll go ahead and pull them away. The other trolls get into some spears here. They're going to do all right, kind of disrupting this line. But, man, look at that friendly fire there from the Hellstorm rocket battery. I did not notice that when I was playing this battle. That is pretty brutal. Reiksguard turn around and charge in. We're going to get Karl also charging in to Archaon. A big old investment in this fight here, as the Reiksguard with the spears and the buffs, they're all juiced up with standard ground. Reikland Runefang, 58-58 on stats, just absolutely crush those poor Chaos Trolls. And now they're overrunning into the Marauders. Speaking of Marauders, Pistoliers an imminent threat, as are the Hellstorm Rocket Battery, as Horsemen and Doggos charge in once again. Big old fight. Tons of investment, both sides. Karl, again, in a critical place to try and support. We've also got some Halberdiers moving in as well. The terror kicking in for the Warriors of Chaos means that I should be able to spring my Pistoliers loose, but also going to try and use them fairly aggressively here as my infantry is starting to crumble, and I'm going to need some melee support units. This pocket with the Reiksguards holding out. We push the steam tank over here to try and get a terror route rear charge on these Chaos Marauders, but it doesn't look like that's going to be the case, so instead, Karl's going to get on Archaon here, cascading Fire Cloak on him, juicing his melee defense and weapon strength. Karl's definitely taking some damage, but a rear charge from the steam tank should help out. Try and get some additional pain on Archaon, but standard dive, great layering one after the other on that from a Spudhouse, using one ability, then the next one, instead of overkilling, using both at the same time. Karl gets Regrowth and Earthblood, does get routed, but he should be back in no time. Meanwhile, these Halberdiers can continue to hold the Chaos characters in place. Steam Tank looks to, again, try and get some terror routes here. The Reiksguard try to come in and bail out the healer, but it looks like he got surrounded by Mirror Guard and Marauders and is going to be taken out. But the Pistolier is still online, getting some timely spear support to help beat back those Marauder Horsemen. Again, using them very aggressively, directly charging into melee here so that Franz can come in and rear charge these Horsemen and Hounds and get a terror route. But the healer's gone. He gets shattered by the triple Chaos Hero Squad. And Archaon gets briefly held up by a single Marauder Horseman, then decides to pop back up in the air, because that squad was threatening for sure. But try and find a presence of strength here anywhere on the battlefield that I can and sort of unify my forces. Looks to be these Reiksguard and the steam tank holding out with a handful of spearmen here. There are quite a bit of hounds and other units present, you know, bogging them down. But if we can make some kind of stand here to try and get some big terror route to even the odds, because things are not looking great for me, honestly, at this point. But you know what's a great unit to start with on the terror route is the Chaos Trolls. Obviously, they're weak to terror. Karl can come in and just steel chair 2 of them, just really destroy their unit models. Once again, pop all the buffs, use the Reiksguard charge as well to provide additional shock damage, and also some good tank factor, right? We've got literal tank and the Reiksguard, both tanking damage very well with their high armor here. A lot of non-armor piercing units for Warriors of Chaos. Really only Archaon has armor piercing and the Chaos Trolls, I guess. But another burning head there. Archaon gets singled out by the tank. Carl seizes an opportunity. Gonna pop that. Galmiraz, get the extra anti-large weapon strength up to 663. Archaon's at 823. He takes a couple of hits, though, and is very quickly going to rout. So suddenly things are looking a little bit more winnable for me. The steam tank is going to continue to hold out. We've got some spearmen also trying to move into support. The horsemen are a problem. But let's see. Carl's going to move through the spearmen and I think just charge the trolls again. I want to say. Yeah, it gets back up into the air. We've got the Reiksguard coming back. We've got the spearmen coming back. The pistoliers, of course, as well, moving in, using their pistol fire to help provide some extra leadership debuffs. You can see just units routing all over the place. Forgot some of them on melee modes. They're also going to charge into the Marauder Horsemen, which is just fine. Archaon in the distance there, trying to survive cascading Fire Cloak, but all it's going to take is one hit from Carl. I think he might have applied his charge bonus there. Down goes the Ever-Chosen, fallen to the Emperor of Mankind. Now the forces of Chaos will face a dilemma in their leadership. Obviously, having lost their general, they're going to face a significant penalty. And with that penalty active, a quick terror rout from Carl literally terrifies everything that's left of the entire army. And that's game. One of the quickest, like, even to wins I've ever seen in terms of the balance of power collapsing when literally everything terror routs at the same time. But awesome game, super fun one, nice back and forth. I thought Spudhouse might have had me a couple times there, but we're able to get Carl back into combat and just barely by the skin of the teeth of the Wyvern, anyway, win the battle. Yeah, Carl, man, carrying some serious value, 2,200 damage value on him. Likewise, the Reiksguard, surprisingly enough, 174 kills, 1,472 on damage value. I would say the Reiksguard were a super key part of my success here, providing that strong mobile support in terms of just all around, you know, the shock damage against a lot of these light units. Really, the Warriors of Chaos here didn't bring too many heavy armor units besides the heroes and like the Mirror Guard. Everything else was susceptible to the charges of the Reiksguard, so they were able to perform very well in that way. Of course, like I said, their armor, their melee defense, the buffs from Carl as well make them that much stronger at sustaining damage. So they're that great kind of Swiss Army knife cavalry, right? What they used to be, at least. They're somewhat that now, which is they're pretty good at dealing damage, they're pretty good at taking damage, they're pretty good at being where you need to, in the right place at the right time, you know, providing some support. So, yeah, I do think that Reiksguard have somewhat reclaimed their old place as that true kind of do whatever you need it to. Not the best, but well enough to do it. Yeah, definitely a very fun one. For Spudhouse side, obviously Archaon, 3,000 damage value on him, just a beast of chaos. The Warriors, Marauders also do pretty well here as well. Mirror Guard just about pay for themselves. Marauder Horsemen generally very cost effective, do some really nice damage. The Hounds, not quite enough. I think one of them almost pays for themselves. If they had been able to chase routing units more effectively, would have been nice, but obviously me kind of pushing forward and aggressively breaking the one flank of Hounds initially, you know, I was very conscious of that, you know, not allowing my units to get chased off, and I do think that was a pretty key initial success. The Chaos Trolls, they're fun. One of them almost pays for themselves. The Mass almost helped finish off Carl too, but just not quite enough leadership, unfortunately. Yeah, I do think, I don't know, I'd have to go back and look. I think Spudhouse had the immunity to psychology item on Archaon. But obviously, once he's out of the picture, then everything's vulnerable to being terror routed. But anyway, hopefully you guys enjoyed this. If you like this sort of content, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification button. Every time I upload a new video, you'll be notified. Thank you all so much for watching. Have a wonderful day. We'll see you next time.